In order to make the water tank of the bus used by the truck, the Pakistani master had to modify it. After their pure manual operation, the brand new water tank that had only been overhauled could actually be used. And the bus water tank in front of us that was recycled for 200 rupees. Because it is too large to be installed on the truck, the master first has to mark it according to the standard length. The main purpose is to facilitate cutting with a saw blade. Although the repair shop does not have a high-end handsaw, their hand cutting speed is not slow. The master skillfully and quickly repeatedly pulled the lower part of the extra heatsink and successfully cut it off. It is also necessary to install a new water type end cover for the cut surface. In order to allow the water channel to be rare with the end cover base, the end of the water channel outlet needs to be extended as much as possible. In this way, the superimposed heat sinks can be separated. The water channel outlet can penetrate the end cover base sufficiently. After the master removed 5 layers of heat sinks, he needed to use a wire brush to clean the remaining suction residue. The 2 ends of the water tank need to be replaced with new end covers, and the base on the other side also needs to be removed. The water tank is generally welded by suction welding, and the melting point of suction is very low. After simple high-temperature heating, it has melted, and the end cover and the heat sink are easily separated. In order to prevent the melted suction residue from clogging the waterway, the recycled water tank cannot be used directly. In order to restore the heat dissipation to the best state, oxalic acid is also needed to clean the waterway outlet. The main purpose is to decompose the internal scales so that each waterway outlet can circulate normally. After all, Pakistani car owners never use antifreeze. If the heat dissipation is not added, it is easy to cause high temperature of the engine. After the masters have been very careful and cleaned, the preparations before renovation are now completed. It is convenient to melt and solder a layer of tin at the waterway outlet. A layer of sweat-absorbing powder should be sprayed on the surface. The melted sweat-absorbing device can be attached to the surface of the waterway outlet. The main purpose is to prevent the sweat-absorbing device from welding failure. Although it is different from the flux, the functions of the two are not much different. After the master has melted and soldered all the surfaces of both ends of the water tank, in order to avoid subsequent leakage of the end cover base, all their suction blocks need to be melted into water-absorbing devices. At the same time, the foot iron mold should be preheated so that the melted water-absorbing devices can be poured smoothly. This is the process of their homemade sweat absorber. The refurbished end cap base can be directly docked with the water outlet. After simply tapping and aligning with a hammer, in order to prevent the end cap base from loosening, the base should be pressed with a guillotine. The base and the heat sink are completely fitted. Because there is still a gap between the hole on the base and the water outlet, Fu needs to use a flat screwdriver to adjust it. It can not only increase the water flow, but also weld better. In order to make the base and the heat sink completely integrated, the surface of the base sprinkled with suction solder powder can be melt welded with a homemade suction soldering tool. The main purpose is to fill the gap of the base. The melted tin can also be spread flat on the surface of the base. After the master welds the bases on both sides, the new pure copper end cap can be installed. It can be completely clamped and fixed. Although it cannot meet the sealing standard, the slot allows the end cap to be installed in the correct position. In order to make the water tank a closed container, Fu will use a high-temperature heated soldering iron for melting welding. In this way, the direction of water absorption can be controlled, and the surface solder bar will be more beautiful. To achieve the level of beauty that can be achieved by glue guns, the new end cover does not have a reserved hole to allow the water inside the engine to circulate. The master has to use a chisel to manually chisel a hole. Under the condition of very low hardness, it quickly meets the requirements. Then the connection nozzle is welded to the end cover. There is no possibility of water leakage at the connection. In order to ensure that there is no risk, the masters will conduct a simple water filling test. Then the bus water tank has been modified. What do you think of the skills of the Pakistani masters?